Today's episode is for anyone who's ever gotten a little stuck. Probably, if you're listening to this podcast, you have an interest in creativity, you have ideas, you have wanted to do and pursue creative projects, but maybe you've gotten a little stuck. Maybe you've gotten a little stuck in the challenge of trying to overcome fear. Elizabeth Gilbert said, "What is creative living? Any life that is driven more strongly by curiosity than by fear." When it comes to our creativity, often our biggest enemy is the fear that stops us before we even start. We can get so in our heads about why not to make the thing that we end up never doing anything at all. Fear can often be the thief of great dreams. Whether you're a performer, maker, writer, entrepreneur, innovator, or someone whose brain is just wired to see better ways of doing things, you will likely find yourself facing a hurdle of fear to overcome before being able to complete a creative project. On today's episode, we are unpacking how to combat fear in the creative process. What's going on with it? How can you reframe it and overcome it? Fear may be the biggest obstacle between you and your creative accomplishments. Learn how fear impacts your physiology and the 8 steps to overcome fear and experience creative freedom on today's episode. Listen, nobody completely paralyzed by fear ever changes the world. Let me say that again. No one completely paralyzed by fear ever changes the world. Today, we're going to unpack 8 ways to conquer a fear-based rut. But first, let's take a look at how fear can affect your physiology and emotions. So, how does fear affect the body? From top to bottom, it affects everything. Cardiovascular, it causes damage to the heart walls. Gastrointestinal, it can cause IBS, decreased fertility. Brain, it can cause irregular emotions. You can misread nonverbal cues. You can be susceptible to impulsive decisions and intense emotions. In your stomach, you can have a chemical release that causes ulcers. With your mental health, it impairs formation of long-term memories. It can cause damage to the hippocampus. It can stimulate anxiety and worry, increased chance of fatigue, clinical depression, and PTSD in the long run. Overall, there's the engagement of sweat glands and fight or flight response. You can have a decreased strength of your immune system. Basically, fear has a big impact, not only in your mind, but in your body as well. So right after this break, we're going to unpack 8 ways to break through that fear in your creative process. There are 8 ways to break through fear in your creative process. So if you are working on creating something, if you have an idea for something, but you're having trouble getting over the mental hurdle to get started, I want you to think about these 8 things. Number 1, don't let fear drive your decision making. You know, in Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, which if you haven't read it, I encourage you to read it. It's all about creativity. She gives us the visual of acknowledging that fear is along for the ride, but you want to put fear in the back seat. You don't want fear to be the one driving, holding on to the steering wheel. Acknowledge that fear is along for the ride, but don't give it power to make your decisions. Number 2, just launch and learn on the way down. We can often just want to tinker and tinker and tinker when we're working on a project if it means a lot to us. But at some point, you need to ship it, and you can learn from any of the challenges or the imperfections of the end product once you get it out into the world. So sometimes you need to get it out into the world to see if there's even a real need for it. But you want to just launch and learn on the way down. It's that whole idea of at some point, the bird has to fly out of the nest to see if they can fly. You will always want to tinker before you put something out there, but you need to let it go and learn after you launch. Sometimes it's learning in public. Number 3, relinquish control of what people think about you. So often we give so much credence to what other people think about us and if they will judge us and if they will judge our work and judge our products, our projects. But the truth is, people aren't thinking about us as much as we think they are thinking about us. So don't let people's opinions paralyze you. You are the one getting in the arena. Brene Brown often quotes Teddy Roosevelt's long speech about getting in the arena and not worrying about the people who are outside of the arena, not engaging, not doing the thing. You should celebrate the fact that you're getting in the arena. So if you haven't read Brene Brown, I encourage you to pick her up and go. If you haven't heard Teddy Roosevelt's quote, go Google that right now. In fact, I want to read it to you right now. This is Teddy Roosevelt's quote on getting in the arena. He said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." Number 4, become prolific. Fear's goal is paralysis. Your fear wants you to do nothing, make no sudden movements. It's like a deer in headlights. So you want to become prolific. Don't even stop to think about it. Produce, 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 and you'll get better. You will improve. The more pots you make, the better the pots will look, the better the pots will be. So keep going. Just get in the chair and create the thing and keep working on the thing and make more things. Number 5, choose goals that you can control. This is something that I learned when I was pounding the pavement as a young actor. I couldn't have a goal of I would book this or get chosen for that because guess what? I couldn't control other people's decisions, but I can control the goals that I'm going to make. So I didn't want to make goals around my big break. What I needed to do was focus on what only I could control to get where I wanted to go. So a better goal than, getting chosen is to have a certain number of reach outs that you will do. If you're wanting to build your business, have a goal of you reach out to 5 new people a day. Or if you're a performer, it's to go to a certain amount of auditions. It's to complete a class or a course or something that you can control. So choose goals that you can control. Number 6, surround yourself with the right community. Be intentional with who influences you. Are you surrounding yourself with people who believe in you? Are you surrounding yourself with people who believe that you creating this thing is a good thing and that it's what the world needs? Are you surrounding yourself with people who are also doing things and who are also creating things and who are also going after it? So think about, are you surrounding yourself with people who are supportive of you and love you and investing in you? And also, are you surrounding yourself with people who can be an encouragement to you because they are also doing things? You need both in your life. Number 7, verbalize what you are fearful of. And this might seem counterintuitive, but I want you to verbalize what you are fearful of. What is the worst case scenario? What is the worst that could happen if you did a thing? Verbalizing your fear will actually diminish it because often when you say it out loud, it's not that bad. Susie Welch said, fail early and fail often. When you do fail, you realize it doesn't kill you. So when you think about that fear, that is that tension that you're pushing against, think about what is it that you're really fearful of? What is it that you're really struggling to overcome? What if that came true? For me, I know that I'm not actually fearful about writing a book. I'm fearful about not writing a book. So I need to stop putting it off. I need to get over that mental hump and verbalize that and recognize that if that's important to me, I need to find the time, I need to make the time, and I need to make it happen. Risk and reward are twins. You can't get to reward without the risk. So embrace the uncertainty, embrace the fear, do the thing because you simply love doing it. Don't focus on how it's received. Don't focus on if it's lauded or if it's criticized. Celebrate that you're the brave person who created something. That is so worth celebrating. Okay, number 8, this is my last point. Make failure your new best friend. So we talked about verbalizing what you're fearful of. And now I want you to really embrace the concept of failing because you're getting the chance to fail forward. The more you fail, the more you'll realize that failure doesn't kill you. You can get back up and go try again. Just because you don't succeed at something does not have any impact on your worth as a person. What a relief. We're all created in God's image, and God designed you to be of value. He gave you intrinsic value. So it doesn't matter how you perform, doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how creative you are or what you have to contribute to the world. You have value intrinsically. Amazing. The truth is, one of the biggest favors you can do for yourself is to fail. Fail hard, fail big. You know, when I was a teenager, my dad handed me a book by John Maxwell called Failing Forward. Sounds super exciting for a 15-year-old, right? But in my, 15 years of life, I didn't know that failure would be coming for me soon. I didn't know that I would have a challenging time of it in my 20s. And I had to decide how I was going to respond. Before I ever experienced forehead to the pavement failure, I read Napoleon Hill's words. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. You know, as an entrepreneur, as an actor, freelancer, I put myself on the chopping block a lot. I've taken risks. I've gotten a lot of no's. There was one year that I went to 90 auditions. And let me just tell you, I didn't book 90 jobs. Okay. But the beautiful thing is, once you've survived a no or two or 88, resilience begins to manifest. One day after being rejected, you realize, hey, I'm okay. And that moment of failing really gives you guts. Not only does it make you brave, it also gives you a heart for other people. So this journey of overcoming fear in the creative process, yes, it is about you and what you have to contribute to the world, but it's also a moment of learning where you can learn how to be more empathetic towards others. When you've been through something and lived to tell the tale and see the other side, you can then encourage someone else who finds himself or herself in a similar situation in the future. And that is such a gift to be able to encourage someone by identifying with their challenging experiences, whether it's overcoming fear in the creative process or something else. I think that's a big reason that we even have challenges in our lives, is to connect us more to one another. So today, I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to go for it, whatever it is. I think you know what it is in your heart. Be brave, risk failing and falling. Accomplishing big things means taking risks. It reminds me of the quote by Wayne Gretzky. Well, the truth is, it reminds me of the quote by Michael Scott by Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I want to encourage you to get in the arena, get out there, and make it count. See you out there.